Welcome back to the channel, Help All fans. Today we dive into one of the most talked about young talents in Europe. Endrick, a Brazilian prodigy, signed by Real Madrid, tipped for the stars, but now finding himself at a crossroads. We'll trace his rise, the club's plans, the loan speculation, Marseille's interest, the setbacks, and what lies ahead. Stay with us because this story is far from over. Endrick's tale begins in Brazil, where he made waves as a teenage striker bursting with potential. In July 2024, Real Madrid announced his arrival, a clear statement of intent from Los Blancos, snapping up a teenager who captured imaginations. Endrick himself spoke movingly at his unveiling. "I've loved Real Madrid since I was a kid. To play here is just incredible. Real Madrid CF Web Official +2 Real Madrid. Confidential." That moment was charged with emotion. For a young Brazilian to don the famous white shirt at the world's most famous club was the stuff of dreams. Real Madrid envisaged him as a long-term asset, someone to build around. But as is always the case at the very top, the road to the first team is rarely smooth. At Real Madrid, Endrick found himself in a glittering squad full of world-class attackers. The club's hierarchy made it clear they have full faith in him and believe he can be a key part of their future. According to reports, Real see no one in the market right now able to match his profile and are committed to his development. Madrid Universal One. However, that promise comes with a caveat. Competition is fierce. At Real Madrid, you don't just walk into a starting role. Fellow forwards such as Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., and Rodrigo Goes already occupy premium spots. Endrick's emergence also overlaps with the rise of Gonzalo Garcia, further adding to the logjam. French Football Weekly. Ancelotti, in one of his candid moments, said, "Endrick is still waiting. He needs to integrate," highlighting the reality that even prodigies must adapt. Madrid, Barcelona. During his debut season in Madrid, Endrick showed flashes. Reports show he made 37 appearances in all competitions and scored 7 goals. French Football Weekly poll 1 for a teenager at Real Madrid. That is nothing to sneer at, but appearances don't always equate to consistent minutes, starting roles, or sustained growth. In the context of his potential, club and player alike knew this was only the beginning. The club's message was clear: patience, development, and readiness. Real Madrid were not in a rush to force him into a role he was not fully prepared for. Enter Marseille. The French side, seeking offensive firepower, made approaches to Real Madrid regarding a loan move for Endrick in the winter window. Reports from February 2025 indicate that Marseille's sporting director asked for information on the young Brazilian's availability. Get French Football News. The offer seemed logical. Endrick needs more minutes. Marseille needs a number 9. For Marseille's fans and board, the prospect of adding such a talent was tantalizing. But Real Madrid's response was emblematic of their long-term approach. They weren't willing to part with him easily, especially on terms that satisfied all parties. Beyond Marseille, other clubs across Europe were reportedly circling. The narrative was shifting from will he play to where will he play, and when. So why didn't the move materialize? The answer lies in the interplay of club strategy, financial constraints, player ambition, and timing. Firstly, Real Madrid's conditions. According to French Football Weekly, Real demanded that any loaning club meet strict criteria. The club should be Spanish-speaking or have a compatible style, guarantee of playing time, and accept a full salary plus a loan fee of around 5 to 6 million. French Football Weekly. Marseille simply did not meet the financial or sporting criteria under Real's terms. High salary, image rights, squad registration issues under DNCG, and intense expectations in Marseille. The environment could be risky for a young player. Secondly, Endrick himself. Reports suggest he was not keen to leave Madrid at first. He believed he could fight for his place, stay, and prove himself. French Football Weekly. That desire is admirable, but it also meant he delayed a potentially beneficial move. Finally, the timing. Endrick suffered a hamstring injury, relapse in May 2025, which further complicated matters and made Real Madrid reconsider immediate loan plans. French Football Weekly. With the injury, the plan to loan him out became less straightforward. So, for now, Marseille's overtures remained unfulfilled. As the 2025-26 season unfolded, the narrative changed. Endrick found himself without a single minute of official game time under the new coach Xabi Alonso. Reports in October 2025 noted he remained unused, his future uncertain. Sportingpedia Plus1. The frustration became tangible. A young talent who had scored goals and shown promise last season now sits idle, watching from the bench. His club remains supportive in long-term outlook, but the short-term reality is painful. The competition remains fierce, the minutes scarce, and the ambition high, including aspirations for a spot in the 2026 FIFA World Cup with Brazil. Marseille's interest resurged. Reports suggest that as Endrick's minutes remained limited, the possibility of a loan became more viable, and Marseille, along with other clubs, were watching. French Football Week. From a storytelling point of view, this is compelling. Young prodigy, big club, limited minutes, temptation of playing somewhere else. It's the classic crossroad many future stars face. Stay and fight your way in, or go out on loan and prove yourself. Let's step back and look at Real Madrid's strategy here. The club's message has been consistent. They believe in Endrick for the long run. They've indicated that there is no talent in the market quite like his, and they're willing to wait. Madrid Universal. This is crucial. Many clubs might panic and send a player out too early. Real Madrid seem determined to protect both the player's development and their investment. But such an approach comes with risks. A lack of playing time at a young age can stunt momentum. The club must strike a balance, integrate the player, give him meaningful minutes, but also not overexpose him too early. The competition at Real Madrid is immense, and even a teenager scoring goals must adapt, mentally and tactically. The loan idea remains on the table, as many analysts report Real Madrid are open to letting him go temporarily. If the conditions are right, managing Madrid, the key word being if, not just any club, any terms or any move will suffice. Why Marseille? Well, for Endrick the attraction is obvious. Regular minutes, less pressure, arguably. The chance to be a focal point rather than a rotation option. For Marseille, bringing in a talent of his caliber signals ambition and could shift the balance in Ligue 1. However, the barriers are real. As noted earlier, the salary, image rights and regulatory constraints, for example, non-EU slots and DNCG budgetary rules, make the deal complicated. French Football Weekly Poll 1. Also, the environment in Marseille can be volatile. High expectations from fans, media scrutiny, pressure to deliver quickly. For a 19-year-old, that can be a double-edged sword. Therefore, while Marseille remain interested, both club and player must weigh whether the move is in his best long-term interests. A loan that goes wrong could damage confidence, but one that gives him consistent starts and development, that could be transformative. Let's turn to Endrick himself. The psychological dimension here is significant. A young man who dreamed of Real Madrid since childhood, now faced with the reality of limited minutes and big decisions. Reports say he visited club president Florentino Perez and expressed his desire to stay and fight for his place. Real Madrid Confidential. That speaks to his ambition, belief, and character. But ambition alone isn't enough. At this level, mental resilience matters. Sitting on the bench, watching others play, especially when you believe you have talent, is a test. Some players wilt under that pressure, others use it as fuel. The question now, which path will Endrick take? Another dimension is the looming World Cup in 2026. For the Brazilian national team, consistent playing time is a factor. Some reports highlight that Endrick is worried that a lack of minutes at club level could hurt his selection chances. Cadena Serra. The stakes are higher now. Let's map out possible paths for Endrick and what each would mean for him and for Real Madrid. Scenario 1. He stays at Real Madrid and gradually breaks through. In this scenario, Real Madrid continue to support him. Maybe give him more substitute minutes, cup games, gradually build his role. The advantage: high-level environment, learning from the best, continuity. The downside: risk of stagnation. If minutes remain too few, frustration builds. Scenario 2. He goes on a loan, maybe to Marseille or elsewhere, plays regularly, returns stronger. This is the classic development path. Young player leaves for a season, gets experience, then comes back ready to challenge. The advantage: minutes, confidence, growth. The downside, the move must be to the right club, with the right conditions, playing style, language, culture, guarantee of minutes, stability. Move to the wrong club and risk becomes regression. Scenario 3. He leaves permanently, unlikely at this stage, or becomes a perpetual loan player, less desirable. If the club's faith wavers, or if he gets stuck in a cycle of loans, the risk is his development derails. For Real Madrid, given the investment, this would be a disappointment. For Marseille, if they secured him on loan and the move went well, it could boost their attack and brand. If it doesn't work, they may exit hurt. For Real Madrid, the key is maintaining control. The investment is large, both in money and potential, and they must protect it. This narrative matters for several reasons. Firstly, it highlights the challenge of developing young talent at the very top clubs. At Real Madrid, even the most talented youngsters must navigate a landscape filled with superstars, expectations, and pressure. Endrick is not the first, and he won't be the last, but his story is emblematic. Secondly, it touches on strategic decisions. Clubs buy expensive young players, then either integrate them or loan them out. The balance between short-term results and long-term growth is a perpetual tension. Thirdly, the human element, ambition, patience, frustration, adaptation. As a viewer, you connect, not just with the talent, but the journey. The setbacks, the decisions, the turning points. Fourthly, the broader implications. National team ambitions, Brazil and World Cup 2026. Club economies, media narratives, transfer markets. So, what should we keep an eye on in the coming months? Does Endrick start getting minutes under Xabi Alonso? If yes, that may signal the club's decision to integrate him rather than loan him. Are there concrete offers from Marseille or other clubs, especially in Germany or Spain, that meet Real Madrid's terms? Reports suggest clubs are waiting now that Endrick may be more open to leaving. French Football Weekly. How does Endrick handle the mental side? Public frustration, training response, willingness to adapt. These are intangible but often decisive. What happens to Real Madrid's attacking hierarchy? Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Gonzalo. Any changes may open a window for Endrick. For Marseille, do they make a serious push? Can they meet the conditions: salary, registration, guarantee of playing time? And for Brazil, will Endrick's minutes, or lack thereof, affect his selection for the World Cup 2026 squad? Time is not infinite. In wrapping up, let's reflect. Endrick's journey is far from concluded. He arrived at Real Madrid amid lofty expectations, showed glimpses of brilliance, but now stands at a crossroads. His club believe in him for the long run. He believes in himself, but the present moment is tricky. Too little playing time, too much competition, injury setbacks, and external interest building. Marseille's interest adds fuel to the story. A loan move could unlock a new chapter for all parties. But no decision should be rushed. The wrong move could hinder more than help. For you, the viewer, this story is a reminder. Football is not just about goals and highlights. It's about growth, opportunity, timing, and character. The difference between a prodigy and a superstar often lies in the decisions made in these less glamorous moments. Endrick's path is still full of promise. The next 6-12 months could define whether he becomes a mainstay at Real Madrid, a superstar elsewhere, or stalls in the system. So, keep watching, because if he gets going, you'll remember where you followed the story first. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Endrick's story, hit the like button, subscribe for more in-depth football narratives, and let us know in the comments, what do you think Endrick should do? Stay at Real Madrid and fight, or go on loan and prove himself? And if he leaves, would Marseille be a good destination? Drop your thoughts below. Until next time, keep loving the beautiful game, and keep chasing those football stories. We'll see you in the next one.